Freddy vs. Ash, a fan novel by A.S. Eggleston. Prologue. Camp Crystal Lake, 2003. Above the night sky was a sense of calm and peacefulness. The black night was illuminated by the light of the stars and the full silver moon. It was a vision of pure and absolute beauty. Below was a battle between two raging behemoths, monsters of both the real and supernatural worlds. While it was only one against one in the fight, it was certainly a battle for the ages. One, a towering, unstoppable killing machine, a sick, twisted fulfiller of vengeance, his name, Jason Voorhees. The other, a manipulator of nightmares, a dream demon, the ultimate seeker of revenge, the bastard son of 100 maniacs. His name was Freddy Krueger. Somewhere deep inside the torturous pit of hell, these two wretched beings found each other. Freddy, despite the dark powers that enabled him to invade the dreams of children and murder them, had one weakness. If the children of Elm Street can forget about him, they can't fear him. If they no longer fear him, they can't dream about him. He can't return if nobody's afraid. Sure, being dead wasn't a problem, but being forgotten, now that's a bitch. He needed someone who'd make them remember. Someone dumb, easily manipulated, like that giant psycho mama's boy Jason. Freddy may have been able to get in Jason's head and read him like a book, but he definitely underestimated his strength. No matter what his victims did or tried to do, Jason always came back and came for them. Their final battle took place at Crystal Lake, or Camp Blood, as those who lived to tell had called it. It was Jason's home. It was where he consumed the lives of his victims. Each had their own weapons of choice. For Jason, it was his machete, a blunt instrument used for decapitation, disemboweling, and impalement. For Freddy, it was a weapon he had constructed in the dark basement of the boiler room where he had worked. It was a copper-plated welding glove with steel knives on each finger. It was perfect for torturing the little boys and girls he lured down there, and after he died, killing them in their dreams. The bright light of the moon reflected upon their weapons as Freddy and Jason raised them to the sky and hurled them at each other. They viciously stabbed and swung their blades as they fought on the dock of Crystal Lake. With each stab, with each puncture, with each flat-out punch and kick they hurled at one another. Not only did they bleed profusely, but they were killing each other. Everywhere the two went, there was blood. The whole camp was stained with blood and guts. It was a vision of pure carnage. Freddy stabbed Jason in the eyes with his knives. Jason ripped Freddy's arm right off of its socket. Freddy would use Jason's own machete to slash him, stab him, and pierce it straight through Jason's black heart. Jason used his brutal force to jam his arm right through Freddy's stomach. They were both soaked and dripping with each other's blood. Suddenly, the calm black waters of Crystal Lake was consumed by fire. The sheer force of the blast knocked Freddy and Jason off their feet and hurled them into the lake to be eaten by the flames. The fire rose higher and higher as their bodies burned above the lake, and eventually drowned below. The black night was lighted by the bright orange glow of the fire. The flames were alive as if they were dancing in celebration of the deaths of the two monsters. Jason drowned as a boy and left for dead into the cold, dark waters of the lake. Freddy burned alive at the hands of innocents for the sake of retribution. As they were in life, so shall they be in death. At least that's what everyone had hoped for. Yes, they were dead, for now. Freddy and Jason's souls are being tormented in hell, just like they were numerous times before. And just like before, something will bring them back. Jason will rise again with a couple of new scars as a memento, ready to strike the next batch of young camp counselors who dare step foot on his territory. As for Freddy, this time, he's not satisfied with just coming back for a while, killing a new crop of suburban brats only to have some clever bitch send him back to hell where he came from. No, not this time. He's the Springwood slasher, after all. He lured countless children into his murderous lair, did foul and unspeakable things to them, and killed them. All the parents in the neighborhood gathered around the power plant and lit the whole building on fire. His sanctuary, his hiding place, his dungeon, was awash with flames. Krueger thought his time had come, when 3 dream demons appeared before him and allowed him the opportunity to live in the nightmares of his victims. He lived off their fear and fed off their souls, but that was nothing compared to what he has in store this time. Since his plan with Jason had failed, Freddy devised a plot to go to the ultimate source of evil power and claim it for himself. It may take a while, but when he does, Freddy's gonna find a way to be truly eternal.
Hail to the king, baby.
His name is Ash, and he is the chosen one. At least that's what he's been told. Back in the day, Ashley J. Williams was just like any other guy. He had a medium-wage job as a stock boy, drove an old broken-down piece of machinery, and had a beautiful girlfriend, Linda. One night, Ash and Linda drove to a cabin in the mountains for the weekend. That was when his average everyday life had ceased. Beforehand, an archaeologist by the name of Professor Raymond Noby had stayed there in the cabin to study his latest finds. Inside the ruins of the castle of Kandar, among his discoveries, was the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, roughly translated Book of the Dead. The book served as a passageway to the evil worlds beyond. Bound in human flesh and inked in blood, this ancient Sumerian text contains bizarre burial rites, funerary, incantations, and demon resurrection passages. It was never meant for the world of the living. Since finding the damned book, Ash had had every horrible and torturous thing imaginable done to him. Everyone around him had been possessed by the foul things that lived inside the book. He's been forced to murder his loved ones, dismember their corpses, and bury them in shallow graves. The bastards even came for him. It got into his hand and it went bad, so he lopped it off at the wrist with a chainsaw. Even when Ash thought he had rid himself of the evil things, he was sent back in time to the Middle Ages, leading a war against an army of darkness. He managed to return to his own time, but not without a price. He left as a normal young man and came back as a hero, chosen by destiny and screwed by fate. After all this time, he now knows things that others cannot even comprehend. He knows that there is a living evil, a presence that lives not in the space that we live in, but beyond it, in the dark, in the night, and he cannot escape them. He tried to, time and again. He tried to live as much of a normal life as he could. But wherever Ash goes, the evil dead follows. The spirits of deadites, as one would call them, are everywhere. They harbor all kinds of demons, and they're the stuff nightmares are made of. They fester in the dark bowers of man's domain, waiting to be set free, waiting to consume the souls of the living, waiting for someone to let them out. Okay, Ashy/aholics, this has been the prologue of Freddy vs. Ash, the fan novel by A.S. Eggleston. I'm so pumped to read this one. I wanted to share the prologue with you today, get you excited for what's to come. I've never read this before. It is not Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. It's Freddy vs. Ash. Great idea for a book. I cannot wait to see how it turns out. The prologue gave us the best of both worlds there. I tried to throw in some music from Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. It's going to be new trying to voice a hero for a change. I've done Freddy, I've done Chucky. Ash is going to be a bit of a challenge, I think. But I'm going to give it my best go. Let me know what you guys thought of the prologue. If you're excited to hear this book, I'll be putting out chapters often here on the channel until we get it completed. This is actually audiobook number 65 on the channel. It's blowing my mind how far we've come. And a new little game for all you slashaholics that stick around to hear my little Joe Bob Briggs breakdown of what I narrate. I'm going to put a picture on the screen right here at the end. It's going to be blurred out. If you can figure out what movie it's from, it's going to be a still picture from a horror movie. and you're the first person to get it right in the comments, you're going to win a free slasher horror ebook that I'll send to you via email. So as soon as I say goodbye, be sure to check out the picture that's going to pop up on the screen. It's going to be blurred out, and be the first person to guess which movie it is, what it's a scene from, and you'll win that ebook. Alright, until next time, this has been your friendly neighborhood 80s slasher librarian saying thanks for listening, be excellent to each other, groovy, and we'll see you next time.